Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to my channel. I am Coach Sherri. And, in the state of where we're at in the country, in the world, and things are changing rapidly. I did a live yesterday where I talked about AI and that we are going to have to pivot. This is not going anywhere. If anything is going to increase. And there's still another piece of content. I'm still doing research on it about what I heard last week about AI. It was disturbing to me because it is going to make us all think again. And so, as a coach, as a career coach, as a marketing coach, um, I'm always looking for solutions. I'm trying to think tank through things, figure things out, think again. Again, if you have not read that book, I encourage you to. If you have a team, I encourage you to read that book together with your team. Think Again by Grant Adams or Adam Grant. I can't recall, but I know it's Grant and Adam in there. But I definitely encourage you to read that because in life, you have to think again. We do things one way for such a long time and we think that is tried and true. But there are moments when things start to evolve and we have to pivot. So you need to prepare yourself for that pivot, be flexible enough, resilient enough to go with it. I see Loving Myself is in the building. Good morning to you. I hope things are going well. How are things your way? I hope all is well. Are you filming? What's going on? Are you uploading some videos? I hope you are, definitely. Let me see. You're saying that. Okay, okay, you're watching Carter's Eat today? Okay. So she's live right now too? So you're double dutching? That's no problem. I was on LSP Productions live this morning. Let me tell you, LSP Productions has some phenomenal driving music. She does like drive along. So I'm in my vehicle, car chat and all that, but she is talking with us in her car as she's driving to work, to wherever she's going. And her music that she rocks with, that she rolls with, is everything. I love it. She has such high energy and is very motivational at the same time. She is a businesswoman, entrepreneur. She has a printing business, I believe, but her content is really good if y'all haven't checked her out. All right, so Loving Myself is double dutching. Tell Carter's Eat, tell my soror that I am saying hello to her this morning. I'm on a little bit later. Um, because I have a doctor's appointment. Y'all, I have a doctor's appointment this morning. It's for my biometrics, and there's like 3 or 4 different locations that I can go to get it done. And I want to say, I think that I scheduled it twice at 2 different times. I know I scheduled it once, and I thought I canceled it and rescheduled, but now I can't remember which location I'm supposed to go to. So I'm just going to go to the one first closest to my house and hopeful that even if I'm not supposed to be there, that they're like, you know what, Sherri, come on, we'll take you. You know how sometimes that happens. I'm just like, listen, I'm trying to get it in, but hopefully I can get it done today. Because if it's not at the place where I think it is that I'm going to right now, I'm going to probably have to just reschedule. I'm not going to go to the other location because there's a reason why I canceled it from that other location. Nothing bad, just where it's situated in terms of accessibility for my day because I have a pretty packed day. But I wanted to come on here. I talked about AI yesterday, and I'm very solutions based. So I wanted to also give you something to think about, something to research, do your due diligence with these top 5 new AI occupations. I'm looking down because I wrote them. So let me just pull it up a little bit higher so I can see it. All right, so these are the top 5 emerging AI positions. Some of them you may not have ever heard of before. Some companies may not even have this occupation. You may be working in a business that does not have it, but if you know this is coming soon, then you should start preparing yourself if you feel that this is in the realm of what you want to learn and would enjoy doing. A lot of times you don't have to wait for it to be posted or for it to be a thing. When you just start doing it and they realize like, oh shoot, we need that, and you already in place. So there you go. That's all you. That's all you. All right. So the first one is called the Chief AI Officer, and you may see it in the acronym of CAIO. CAIO. You know, like CEO, CFO. Well, the acronym is CAIO. Again, that's the Chief AI Officer, and they manage internal productivity and external offerings. So, if that's something that you think would be of interest to you, I recommend that you again research it, look it up. TW Popcorn just popped into the building. Good morning to you. Great to see you. The next is FinOps Engineer, and they manage cloud costs and they combine finance and develop operational skills to address the rising cloud prices. So if you are already working in the finance industry, in the realm of things of finance, or even, dealing with development and cloud work, you might want to look into upskilling yourself regarding the FinOps engineer. These are things that you can look up on LinkedIn Learning. Again, going to your local community college. Listen, if you already have your bachelor's, your master's, your doctorate, do not sleep on community college. You don't just have to have a high school diploma or GED to attend or go to class there, or even to get your associates. I've coached people that have their master's, but in order to elevate in their current role, and because their education is not aligned with their current role, just by the grace of God, they got that position. They found that they had to go back to get more credentials to get those promotions. And more credentials sometimes meant getting an associate's degree. So, I know it sounds a little like backwards, like, what? Why would they do that? Well, because since they do have all those credentials, getting that associate degree wouldn't require 2 years. It may be just a few classes, but at least they would have that baseline knowledge or education regarding the work that they are looking to do to promote in. A lot of times it goes into engineering. People sometimes stumble upon engineering occupations, just by happenstance. And, they may have majored in philosophy or sociology or business in undergrad, and maybe have their MBA or MS or something like that. But they're working in the realm of being an engineer. And then they look around and they're like, you know what? I want to be a manager. I know my job real well. I could do this. But they can't because they don't have that additional credential of an engineering degree. And it doesn't necessarily mean a 4-year degree. So they go back for an associate's in engineering. That happens a lot. You'll be shocked. So if you have any kind of finance background or anything like that, or you want finance background, you may have the development skills and experience, then go look at the community college. They really just want you to have that foundational knowledge, that theory knowledge about the practical work that you'll do. The third one is AI researcher in cybersecurity. Now, I encourage people to look into cybersecurity, even the fintech, which deals with finance cybersecurity. But this AI researcher in cybersecurity, they study AI use in hacking campaigns. They analyze AI effectiveness in tech stacks and develop internal AI usage policies. Now, think about it. In most businesses, there's a lot of policies around different things, the usage of technology, how you are to show up as an employee, or, just systems and standards. And so who has the AI policies right now? So that might be something else you might want to look into, is creating those AI policies for your company, your own business. What do you think would be appropriate for employees to do regarding AI? That's going to be important moving forward. That's going to be something that's going to be a staple in everything that we do. Number four is a solutions architect, and they create strategic technical visions, bridge business requirements with technical solutions. So, again, that's a solutions architect. So, once again, I'm going to just keep continue to lace this through. You need to upskill and reskill yourself. If it means going back, getting a certification, research all that it goes into this. I recommend that you go to, it's called ONET Online, and you can type in any of these occupations and they'll give you a whole summary of what goes into these occupations so you can understand what type of person, what's their personality type that works in these types of fields. Um, what are some of the skills that you might need? What is some of the other technology you would need to support your role when you're doing this work? What are some of the daily tasks? What would you do? How do you go about your projects? What does your day-to-day look like? So ONET Online, it provides you with all of that information. It is a gem. I'm telling you, when I share that site with clients, and it's free and it's developed by the Department of Labor, when I share that site with clients, they are blown away. Like, what? What is this? And I always tell them, when you are looking up and researching new occupations, you need to be looking at it and saying, you know what? The only thing that's missing is my name, because I love doing all of this, or I would love to learn how to do all of this. And I see Black Guns and Gardens is in the building. Hello, good morning to you. There's some other people in. Let me see. Evo, good morning to you. How are you? Thank you for coming in. Let me see. I wanted to make you a moderator. Thank you for coming in, and hope that everyone is starting their day off good. It's a beautiful day just about everywhere, I want to say. And I'm just here sharing more information about emerging AI occupations. And so these are the top 5. So again, the solutions architect. But again, I know I'm kind of jumping around. Excuse me as I clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. um, that's DJ Cool from DC. So at any rate, the ONET Online is a wealth of information. It's also a great place if you want to, revise your resume. Definitely check out ONET Online, because it'll have the keywords, it'll have the key phrases that most employers for those positions are looking for. It's also helpful when you are doing interview prep to see, okay, if this is the type of work that a person does here, these are probably going to be some of those interview questions. And also, as an employer, that's where I go to make my interview questions. So I know that that will also help you with your interview prep. All right, number 5 is the 5G infrastructure engineer. 5G infrastructure engineer. And I know probably one, maybe all of these occupations you may not have heard of, but that's what I'm talking about. As we continue to evolve, especially in the AI space, there's going to be lots of new positions that you never heard of, but you want to be familiar with them. And this is one way to be familiar. And that's why I'm sharing with you these top 5. So the 5G infrastructure engineer, they deal with telecommunicators or telecommunications. And this role involves planning and developing 5G infrastructures, IoT, which is Internet of Things, and edge computing solutions. So, if these are some things that, you heard of, that you did have an interest, but you just didn't know what capacity you could do it in, these are those occupations. So again, the first one was the Chief AI Officer, and you may see the acronym CAIO, FinOps Engineer, AI Researcher, Solutions Architect, and 5G Infrastructure Engineer. So these are some things that you would want to consider upskilling yourself in if you don't already have these skills, in order to be a better candidate, to be more attractive for these positions. And you want to upskill yourself in AI, cloud computing, cybersecurity, and emerging network technologies. And all of these things are searchable. So I recommend that you Google search them, you put them in your chat GPT or whatever other AI tool you use. Go to your local school, and also nonprofit organizations, anything dealing with digital literacy. Sometimes they have some satellite offices maybe in your community with the nonprofits, where they are upskilling the community regarding digital literacy so you can know more about technology and what's to come. Some cloud platforms that you should be aware of would be AWS or Azure, because those are often required in these types of job offerings. And certifications, hands-on experience with cutting edge tools and platforms will be valuable for transitioning to these high demand positions. You know, you don't only want to get the theory part, you also want the practical, and the practical is the hands on. And even if you don't, again, if your company does not currently have those occupations, you really want to start implementing them, because this is coming. You know, how can you use some of those types of things that those occupations do? And when your company realizes, you know what, we might need this position, you could say, I've been doing that work. That's me all day. And then you'll find yourself pivoting into a new career. And that's sometimes how it happens. People always wait for that tap on the shoulder. You know, oh, how did that person get that? I always wanted to do something like that. Well, then why didn't you? Why didn't you? No one's asking you to do anything above your 8 hours or whatever, but within that time, look around and see where you can, you know, be more innovative, take initiative. If there are people, if you have an INT department, you know, go and talk to them, reach out and say, what's coming up? What do you recommend? This is my background. These are things I have an interest in. What do you recommend that I do? What do you think I should take that will make me more valuable? Because what's coming up? You know, people look around to what's right here, right now, but you need to be looking at what's coming up, because yeah, you may land something for the right now. You know, that's like when people at first, I remember, because I do resume writing and interview prep workshops, and they're like 4 hours long. And I remember back in the day, you know, when people would come into my class, they would be like, Miss, my last name, Coach Sherri, you know, I just want a job, any job. And that's what you'll get. You know, you'll get a job, any job, but you want a career. You want something that's lasting. Jobs are fleeting. They're here today, gone tomorrow. You want something that, you know, has some, you know, substantialness to it. And not saying that a career can't be here today, gone tomorrow, but there's so much that's coming up that you can prepare for and, you know, be right there with it for sure. Sassy is in the building. Good morning to you. Good morning, LSP Productions. I was talking about your live this morning and how you be jamming. There's no other way to say it. Oh my goodness. Your music is so wonderful. I need to get that playlist. What? And you know, I just love your ride. Seeing the sun come up was so beautiful. And listen, it may look like it was a lot of traffic, but you ain't seen traffic till you seen Charlotte traffic. You definitely haven't seen traffic until you see Atlanta traffic. LA traffic got things beat too. The thing with LA traffic is that and Atlanta's a bit like this too. LA has like 6 lanes. How all 6 lanes gonna be filled? You know? And Atlanta has a lot of lanes too. They have more than just 4 lanes and on a lot of their highways, especially when you get to the uptown area. And they all are jam-packed, like all day, every day, Sunday too. You're like, what is going on for real? But yeah, I hope that you oh, I should have told you to take notes so that you could write these down. But luckily this is a video. So if you need to, you know, do the playback, because don't just leave this, you know, keep this information to yourself. Share it with other people in your circle. Think about people that are graduating college. You know, a lot of times they think, okay, I got my 4-year degree, I'm good to go. But guess what? You may need to go and get another certification. You may need to go and get an associate degree. You may need to take a one-off course just to make your degree stand out even that much more so you could be relevant. You know, a lot of times, and I hate to say it, but you know, a lot of professors in schools, especially if they're tenure, or they are academia. All they've been doing is the academics. Yeah, they keep up with the trends and whatnot, but they don't have that real hands-on experience sometimes. And so they're teaching you, just teaching you, you know, the information. They're hoping as a student, you know, with your research that you're bringing them back stuff. But I'm here to tell you, you know, education and learning goes beyond the classroom. You have to take it into your own hands. Don't be shamed. Don't be shy. Excuse me. I don't care what credentials you already have. You need more. You need more right now. Like I said, it could be a certification. It could be a one-off course. It could be YouTube University even, if you can apply it appropriately in whatever you need to do. And I see everyone is saying hello. Thank you for that. Kiss from Jay. Good morning, Kiss from Jay. How are you doing? So good to see you. Oh my goodness. It's great to see you. I'm glad everyone is speaking, welcoming everyone in. Definitely. All right. So, and everyone here are great content creators, so please be sure to connect with them. But I'm just going to do another recap on the top 5 AI occupations that you need to be looking into. Again, not just for you, think about your family, friends, your circle. Graduations from colleges are coming up in May and June, or May, even for high school graduates, that don't know where they want to go. They good with it, with the technology in some cases, not in all cases. Just because people know how to do gaming and um, they have phones and they are able to text, don't mean that they are digitally literate. So, you want to just really make sure that we all become digital literate. If you are someone that can teach digital literacy to the community, I recommend that you host some workshops. Do it free, do it for, just for the community to give back, because we all need to be up on it, especially our elders. Listen, I remember, because I'm also an adjunct at a community college, and so and with workforce development and continuing education, y'all would never know it, but I don't have that much patience. I gained patience when I was caring for my mother as she lived with ALS, but my patience really is I don't have too much. And they had me teaching the senior citizens, technology, how to use a computer, like computer basics. And I was like, yo, hold on. Because, I'm talking about the basic, like, this is a mouse, it's not a real mouse. This is how you navigate with your computer. And it turned out to be really fun. It was, because even though they were at the time, senior citizens, because look, I think I'm a senior citizen now. I'm 55, double nickel in the building. I call myself a senior citizen. But a lot of senior citizens are taking care of their grandchildren, and they're finding that Social Security is just not cutting it. And they have to go back into the workforce, even if it's just part time, but they need to be upskilled. So that's what I'm saying. If you have a skill, a talent, especially when it comes to technology. Now, I don't know why they thought I could do that. I don't know why. I mean, I did it and I did it well, but that's just not my forte. That's not something I would love to do every day in, day out, is teaching people how to, the basics of computers. What time is it? Yeah, I have to get ready to go, so I'm not late for the doctor's appointment that I probably don't have. Y'all, I'm just gonna go up in there. I mean, I think I have an appointment. I don't know. So, you know, if you know anything about technology, you have patience. Look at the young people. Again, don't assume because someone knows how to use their phone that they are digitally literate, because that does not mean that. Just like when you see people read, even if they read out loud and you're like, oh, okay, they can read. No, they are not comprehending the words that they're reading. They're not those words, they're not literate unless you understand what you have just read. And I did a teaching fellowship several years ago, and it was in a middle school, in a Title I middle school, and only 25% of all the students in that school read on grade level. 25%, what? And so the majority of my students read on the third grade level, or BR. BR is before kindergarten, but they could read, like they could read words. They could read out loud, but they just don't know what they just read. So just because someone's on the computer or, using their phone and they could, navigate certain things, doesn't mean that they are literate in digital. So we need to be mindful of that and don't take that for granted, because if we do take it for granted, we're going to have so many people in our community that are left behind, and we do not want that. I see Smart Cookie is in the building. Okay, see, you used to teach baby boomers in your nonprofit. That's awesome. Have you thought about doing it again? Because I'm thinking about, like, my father. My father's 86. He'll be 87 in May. And it's hard, I look at him with his phone. I wish I could demonstrate how he types in his phone. It's like, it's crazy. It really is. But, if there's some place that he could go in his community where they can teach him, I know he would love to learn more about, using a computer. I don't live close enough to him to, be able to take on that task, to tackle that with him. But again, here are the top five emerging positions. It's the Chief AI Officer, CAIO, the FinOps Engineer, Solutions Architect. Oh, I'm sorry, I've skipped number three. AI Researcher in Cybersecurity, Solutions Architect, 5G Infrastructure Engineer is number five. Yeah, the 5G Infrastructure Engineer. So, any of those, if you are interested, I highly recommend that you do your research. You just never know. You just never know. But what I do know is that life is going to continue to evolve. The way that we do things, the way that we know things is going to continue to evolve. And if we don't stay current, if we don't stay skilled up, if we don't wake up wanting to learn every day, we're going to be left behind. And I know I don't want any of you left behind. I know you don't want to be left behind either. And let's see, they would get so excited to receive an email. Oh yeah, so Smart Cookie had a nonprofit, or has a nonprofit, that used to train up the baby boomers with technology, and even as simple as an email is a big deal still for people. I know email's been out for a long time, but you have to understand there's some communities, in the cut. There's some communities in rural areas. Heck, where my father lived, they don't have, like, what's it called? Um, what's the technology called? Fiber. They don't have fiber optics. He can't even get internet in his house. He would have to get a hotspot. And so there's still places in 2025 like that. But they need to be okay too. Those communities still have school-age children. Those communities still have people that are contributing to the community. So they need to be okay too. And Loving Myself is saying my middle daughter's birthday is next Saturday. She's going to be 12. All right. Well, I hope that you film some of that. I would love to see it. I know you did a great job with her fingernails, and happy early birthday to your daughter. She's a preteen. Jacqueline's heirloom, vintage, and collectibles. Welcome. How are you, Jacqueline? It's good to see you. I know a lot of times you come and check out my replay, so it's good to see you here live. Hope all is well with you. And I see everyone is still speaking. And Smart Cookie says there are a lot of them that don't even have computers. It is really sad, and they call it the great divide. Y'all, that's like step one to, having the haves and the have-nots. We look at our phones, and listen, our phones, that's a computer, that's technology. But some people have just a basic phone where they can text and call, and that's it. And so they don't have access to being able to record, to research, to do things. Because our phones is a great tool, especially if you want to start a business. I mean, you can all automatically research how to do that. But if you don't have access to any of that, imagine that in 2025. And Smart Cookie, you are right. That is the great divide. And that's what's happening. Technology is making that divide even greater. So what can we do? What can you do in your own community to help narrow that gap? What can you do? What can you provide? I'm here on YouTube, and I know that sometimes people have access to social media, even if they don't have technology. They may do it in school. They may do it, from the library. Sometimes churches will open up their doors for that, or nonprofits. And, hopefully that they are not just searching nonsense. Hopefully they are searching things that they can implement into their life to make it better. Things like this information about the top 5 emerging AI positions, and again, if you know people that are in those situations, reach out to them, provide them with that additional information. A lot of places, nonprofits, community colleges, workforce development agencies, they sit in their office waiting for people to knock on the door. I'm not like that. I go outside. You got to meet people where they're at. Go places that is, centrally located but easily accessible so that they can get to you. Market what you're about to do. Let let the hairdressers, the barbers know, listen, I'm about to have this workshop. They need to come. Go to the schools, let the counselors know I'm having this workshop, put it at the front desk. Whatever you have to do, don't just say, oh, today I'm gonna do it and hope, hope people come, or pray people come. No, you have to market it and let them know that you're going to be there. And what is the benefit? What's the ROI? What's the return on their investment? No, they're not paying you, but it's their time. What are they going to get out of it? So have your objectives outlined and clear. But listen, even if you do this free, first of all, if you're doing it through your business, you could write that off. How much would it have cost? And that's a tax write-off for you right there. So you're not losing anything and you're gaining. You're doing a public service. You're doing something good for your community. Because I feel like this. I don't care how well I may be doing, what's going on, what access I have. If we all don't have that, then we all not good. And that includes me, because this is my community. So if my community is not good, I'm not good either. So I do all I can every day to make sure my community is good, is straight. I got 3 young adults. My children are 26, 24, and 23 years old. And I need their community to be good. So I do all I can for people of all ages. And I hope that you are the same. This is a tribe. This is, like-minded. So we all can just do what we can do. I'm not asking you to do what I do. I can't do what you do, but we all do what we do, and it's all going to be good. So, all right, y'all, I really got to go because the appointment that I think I have, which I probably don't, I'm about to be late for it. So I need to get this done. But I appreciate you all for stopping in. Again, share this information with your circle. You just never know. So it may be an aha moment for someone. They may be like, oh, shoot, that's something I would love to do. I didn't even know. I know you didn't know, because these are new. And I'm going to keep pulling and dragging out and digging deep for the what's coming so that I can share it with you, because that's what I do. I am Coach Sherri. And listen, are you locked in? Have a great day. Remember, practice every day. Practice so hard that when you play, you will always play to win. It's been my pleasure. Take care, everyone.